got some of those deployments, so I'm like, whoa, I can't remember I did that, but it's been a pleasure. It's been great coming from the enlisted ranks. You know, I have good friends here. My friend Ian Cruikshank, that I couldn't shake him off. I mean, everything from MEPS to receiving to boot camp. Everybody that showed up today, thank you guys. My family from the West Coast, I appreciate you guys coming. You know, everybody here, you know, previous workers, I definitely appreciate it. And Colonel, thank you for making it out here for DC. But it's been an interesting ride. I mean, enlisting back in '98, different administrations, going through, you know, don't ask, don't tell era, being able to still be a Marine regardless of who I was. You know, it was always my thing to become a Marine. You know, once I became a Marine, stepped into boot camp, honor, courage, commitment, those core values, I try to apply them in every single step of my life. When I deployed in 2003 as an NCO, I had an experience that made me choose my next steps in life. You know, I had a warrant officer that, you know, was a warrant officer. You know, he, you know, we got leaders that we learned from, and you know, I learned from him some good things and some bad things. But I told myself that I want to be a leader so that I don't put somebody else through those situations. So that I'll be able to take care of them the way that they're supposed to be taken care of. I know in the Marine Corps it's always about mission accomplishment, mission accomplishment, mission accomplishment, and then troop welfare. I always thought if you take care of your troops, you'll accomplish that mission. Again, Colonel Satie mentioned, you know, when that tour at Wounded Warrior Battalion definitely opened up my eyes. There's no type of formal training that we could have ever had to prepare us for what we saw at Wounded Warrior Battalion. Where we saw Marines that came back from Afghanistan burnt because of IEDs. And I remember a Lance Corporal there that was like, oh, where's Captain Yanez? I heard he's the Mustang, you know, and I hear him behind, you know, and in the hallway he's kind of doing in the walker, trying to make it where I'm at. And he sounds so alive. He's like, I want to be an officer. And I turned around, and he's burnt completely. And he still had that drive to be a Marine, regardless of whatever happened. And it broke my heart, you know. And then I went and did met General Jones up at the Odyssey boot camp. Great man. And I learned from him something that I had done in my career that I had no idea how to put it together. But he would always come around and say, hey, have you vaulted your wife? And you're like sitting, you know, in this 2-week boot camp, and you're like, sir, what are you talking about? Have you vaulted your, you know, your son, your daughter, whatever? And I'm like, what is he talking about? Have you vaulted, you know, your girlfriend, your aunt? And I'm thinking, I'm like, and finally he came in, and after, you know, the third day, he's like, how many of you did I ask if you have vaulted your family members? And everybody raised their hands. And he said, every Marine, every human being wants to be vaulted. What he meant by that is wants to be valued. I joined this gang club to be valued as a Marine. Wants to be accepted. Every single one of us wants to be accepted into something. Wants to be understood. There's a lot of Marines, even at Wounded Warrior Battalion, where I would see the records, and they're stellar Marines, meritorious promotion to NCO, you know, on the board to staff NCO, but what happened? I remember a first sergeant one is like, sir, we should fry him because they got a DUI. I'm like, let's look into it. Let's pump the brakes on. Nobody, you know, we get so much into, you know, the day-to-day operations that we don't have time to understand these Marines. Marine had gone through a divorce, had lost his kids, his wife took all his money, he's missing a leg, he might not go back to the Marine Corps, but we didn't understand him. We didn't take the time to look at who that individual was. Because beneath this uniform, we're still human beings. Loved. Everybody wants to be loved, regardless. You know, I remember being at CLR 27 as a red patcher, I had the worst of the worst. Because I was a senior lieutenant and I was a prior, they figured I could take care of them. I had people that had DUIs, that had, you know, they were troublemakers. And they were the black sheep of the company, and I took them in. I'm like, you know, we're gonna change that up. I love you guys. I represent you. If I'm in the hole, then you're in the hole. You're in the hole, I'm in the hole. Let's start fresh from now. I know your backgrounds, I've seen your files. And they're like, sir, nobody actually really did that before. So, B-A-U-L, and then T, trusted. I thank the mothers and fathers of America that trusted me to deploy with Marines on all 3 deployments. I remember, you know, talking to their families saying, hey, Sergeant Yanez, Lieutenant Yanez, Captain Yanez, bring my son back. To be able to see a parent eye to eye and say, yes, I will bring your son back. I will bring your daughter. That trust that we're in, you know, that they give us as a Marine officer, as just a Marine leader, that was huge. So that's what I want to leave to you guys, you know, especially if you're still in the Marine Corps. Make sure you vault your Marines. Value, accept, understood, love, and trust. You know, and again, I have some great leaders here in the room that were my mentors, that talked to me, pulled me off to the side. I can't say nothing but thank you, you know, for each and every one of you guys that made it out here. And those that couldn't make it because of distance, you know, I understand that. But again, that taught me right there to be able to take care of your Marines is the number one thing. You know, as I venture off, you know, my husband and I will be going back to Arizona, starting a business. We're going to do a retreat, spa and retreat, overlooking a beautiful mountain, you know, and we're excited for the next chapter in our lives. And I thank you guys for being here, Mom, Dad, my aunt. I just can't express my gratitude for you, and I thank you guys, my brother, everybody. Thank you guys, and appreciate you guys coming out here.